Ladies and gentlemen, normally we have our keynote speaker speaking towards the end, but tonight we're going to go straight into the main speech of tonight. Now, as you all know, His Holiness has kindly attended our events in the past, and on demand, we've somehow managed to request His Holiness to attend here again to deliver the keynote speech. Now, very briefly, because we've all heard of his introduction, which has no limits, I'll just give a quick summary. His Holiness was born in Chicago, and during the 1950s, he came to have a problem about how the counterculture was being followed by people of the US and possibly the globe all over. He was confused, trying to understand why people hate people. He found it difficult to believe why people exploit each other. And this thought, this meditation, drove him to hitchhike across the entire globe in search of answers. He possibly attended most of the large monasteries around the entire globe. He studied various traditions, and while he was on his journey home, he ended up in India, where he took the immortal sacred vows of a sannyasi, the vows of a renunciate, which basically means a person who spends their entire life for the benefit of others. 40 years later, His Holiness has been spreading the message of love and devotion to literally millions and millions across the face of this globe, from all backgrounds, all nationalities, and all types of cultures and traditions. Over the past 40 years, His Holiness has also taken the attention of presidents of states, of members of parliaments across the world. He also mentors various high net worths, chairmen, executives, industrialists, while at the same time he also is the mentor of many actors and actresses both in Hollywood and Bollywood, while at the same time, through his own charities which he has set up, he stays and sleeps amongst monks and orphans. And one example, the beautiful hospital established by himself and some of his followers in Bombay, he also takes the hand of the terminally ill and gives them hope. Only a few weeks ago, when I managed to get in touch with His Holiness, I came to understand how he was about to embark on a 2-week program of delivering lectures to thousands and thousands of people who have traveled all over the world to assemble for a pilgrimage in a place called Vrindavan, which was in North India. And His Holiness literally spends hours every day lecturing and giving discourses to these thousands of people who have traveled from literally every country around the world. And he only gave his last lecture at 10 p.m. on Saturday night. And he just flew in. And it clearly shows how His Holiness has a lot of affection and lots of love for each and every one of us and HSBC. Therefore, you will know what an honor and a pleasure it is for me to invite on stage a person from a tradition which dates back over 5,000 years, beginning with Lord Krishna, a renunciate monk, speaking on the subject, how to cultivate a culture towards wealth responsibility, the wealth of ours and others. May I kindly request you all to please join me in very loudly welcoming His Holiness Radhanath Swami.
Om Agyantimidandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurun militham jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatam Dikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shamyavadi Astatyate Satharine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. It's my great honor and joy to be with all of you this evening. First of all, let us all offer a prayer in our hearts, remembrance to all of the people who are suffering in the Philippines during this time of great crisis. Such sobering moments really do help focus us on what really matters in our lives. I'm very grateful to be here at HSBC. It's my fourth time speaking to all of you, and I really feel like I'm coming home to family when we're together, even though I haven't had a bank account since 1969. In my interactions with the leaders and the people connected to HSBC, I really do find a real aspiration for making the world a better place through values, human values. Earlier this year, I was in Chicago. I was invited to a very prominent international corporation to meet with the CEO, the CFO, the CMO, and the COO. I don't even know what they mean actually. And it was a very beautiful meeting. They asked me something about a recent talk I gave at the House of Lords at the British Parliament. And I told how I spoke about 40 minutes or something. But one sentence I said, many people afterward were telling me how it really transformed their way of thinking. And I was thinking how this sentence was such a simple, common sense thing. So the CEO was really interested, what did you say? The words were that you can understand how rich you are by counting how many things you have that money cannot buy. Do you remember? People clapped when I said that. House of Lords. When the CEO of this corporation, who had just come flying in on his own private jet to meet me, he became so enthusiastic. He said, yes, the most important, meaningful things in life, money cannot buy. And he went on and on with a list. It cannot buy happiness. It cannot buy peace. It cannot buy values. It cannot buy interrelations of quality with family. It cannot buy love. I think he's a billionaire. After he went on and on about all the things that money cannot buy, I asked him, why do you work so hard for money? And he gave me such an honest answer. He said, because the other things it can buy are very nice to have. I was very satisfied with that answer. Today, the topic of the talk is the culture and responsibility of wealth. And the special occasion is Diwali, which is one of the most beautiful celebrations within the Vedic Sanatana Dharma, or Hindu religion of India. It is called the Festival of Lights. Actually, traditionally, and this has been going on for centuries, for millenniums, where practically every home, they put little lamps with some oil and a flame on their windows, on their roofs, in their homes during the nighttime. The spirit of this festival is how light conquers darkness, how love conquers hate, how compassion conquers selfishness, how forgiveness conquers arrogance, how humility conquers arrogance, and how selfless sharing is the real value in which we can find deep fulfillment in our life. The symbol is a little flame of fire, which not only illuminates, but it also gives warmth. And with all rituals, they have an inner purpose, a symbol. Diwali is really to light that flame, the flame of love and compassion within our own hearts. As far as wealth, it could have such a divine purpose if it is used in this spirit. According to the Vedic system, or bhakti, wealth is sacred. Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune. And when we understand the potential sacredness of wealth, we could use it for our own enlightenment and for the prosperity and enlightenment of the world. But like fire, fire is so crucial. It's the fire within our stomach that digests food. It's the fire of the sun that gives us all the energy in the world. Fire dispels darkness. Fire cooks our food. Fire keeps us warm. But if we're not attentive, fire can also have one of the most destructive powers. When I was a little boy, I remember my aunt, who I love very dearly. She burned to death in a building that was on fire. And I remember after hearing that, I went into my basement where we were living and I saw a little fire keeping the whole house so warm, because in Chicago, where I'm from, the winters were extremely cold, this much snow. So the beautiful things in life, if they're used properly, can have such benefit to ourselves and to the world. But if used improperly, it could cause so much sadness and difficulty. The history of Diwali, which Surrender has spoken of, he said I was going to speak about it, so I guess I will. Sita is the mother of all living beings, according to the Ramayana. And as a mother, she nourishes all wealth, all fortune, the earth, the environment. They are all ways that the mother nourishes us. To understand that the environment is sacred, that our health and our intelligence is a sacred gift, that the wealth or money that we may have is also a sacred gift. And to use it according to that principle, our very lifestyle in banking or in business or in politics, whatever it may be, becomes yoga. It becomes a path of spiritual enlightenment. In the Ramayana, Sita was the consort or the wife of Ram. Ram symbolizes the highest virtues. For the purpose of honor and integrity and defending his own family, he was willing to go to the forest for 14 years, to leave behind his palaces, his wonderful clothes, his fine foods, for a higher principle. And Sita went with him. Ravana kidnapped Sita. He was so immensely powerful, so immensely wealthy, but it breeded within his heart envy and selfishness and incredible arrogance, where he thought he had a right to do anything he wanted for his purpose. In the end, of course, he lost everything. The principle of the Ramayana is that these two forces are within all of us. There is the Ram, our divine nature, and there is the Ravana, our very selfish nature. And real values is to overcome these selfish, arrogant tendencies for that higher purpose of seva, or service. Service to humanity, service to God. This is a basic spiritual principle that is universal. Anandamayo Vyashat, it says in Brahma Sutra, that every living being is seeking fulfillment. And true fulfillment within is to love and to be loved. Things could give some temporary satisfaction to the mind and to the senses, but things can give no fulfillment to the heart. Only love can give fulfillment to the heart. In 1971, Mother Teresa taught me that same message in her little convent in Calcutta. The real problem in this world is hunger. Hunger of the heart. And she said, I see this hunger even in the wealthiest people of New York and London, in Bombay, in Paris. People are starving for love. And from a spiritual perspective, the origin of that love is between the Atma, or the true self, and the Supreme, who we call Krishna, or God, with many names. Let us take some examples. In the Old Testament, Moses, these are universal spiritual principles. He was Prince of Egypt. He had tremendous amount of luxury and an incredible future of power. But for a higher principle, he went into the desert and took his people into the wilderness. Would he have made such an impression in the world if he just remained happy as the Prince of Egypt? Higher principle. In the New Testament, Jesus, he said, make your treasure not in this world, make your treasure in the kingdom of God. Because the treasures of this world are either going to be burned by fire, or rusted by rust, or eaten by moths, or stolen by thieves. What is the use of gaining the whole world, he said, if you lose your immortal soul? And in both these testaments, the first principle is to love God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And if we do that, what is the natural byproduct? That we love our neighbor as ourselves. Everyone is our neighbor. Diwali teaches us the principle of unity in diversity. There are people of many colors, of different sexes, of different nationalities, of different religions, or no religions. There are people of different species. How to live with compassion by seeing the unity and the sacredness of life. You see, we cannot really appreciate the sacredness of wealth unless we appreciate the sacredness of life. The life that is within ourselves. When we identify that and appreciate that, then we can actually see that we're all part of the same Creator. Whatever our religions, nationalities, or social status may be, we're all a family. And real fulfillment in life is according to what we have and what we can do. We're here for each other as a family. Compassion. This is the essence of human values, and it is the essence of all spiritual paths. In my tradition, Lord Chaitanya, he was a great avatar of Krishna that appeared about 500 years ago. And he spoke about Prem Dhan. This was his message, that the greatest treasure, the highest wealth, is love. When we awaken that love for God, then naturally it's like watering the root of the tree, and that water extends to every part of the tree. Each flower, each twig, each leaf, everyone. The Atma, or the living force within us, is spiritual, eternal, full of knowledge and full of happiness. And that happiness is built on the foundation of love. When we connect to that love, we find a wealth that neither time or death can ever take away. When we find that potential within ourselves, then whatever we have becomes an instrument of that wealth. Our intelligence, our influence, our money, our skills. This is such a great need within the world. As I was sitting, I was speaking to Antonio Simos. And he was telling me how much he's so grateful to be a part of HSBC Bank, because the leadership really is striving to focus on values and actually trying to help the world through those values. Generally, when Swamis like me think of banks, it's a very materialistic, greedy kind of a environment. But it doesn't have to be that way. It could be just the opposite. Because where there's influence, where there's leadership, where there's wealth, there's the capacity to make the biggest difference in the world. And when we take responsibility for what we have to make a difference in the world, then our life becomes very meaningful. And we can be instruments to make so many other lives very meaningful. What is the legacy that individually, as a family, and as a society, we are going to give to the next generation? This is the most important consideration. Values, our values more than anything else, our character, is what's going to influence our children and our grandchildren to lead meaningful and fulfilling lives. I'd like to give a simple personal example. Tomorrow I fly to Chicago. It is my father's 90th birthday. I was thinking, if anybody has read the book I wrote, The Journey Home, you know how much distress, anxiety, and suffering I caused my father and mother. So at least I could be there for his 90th birthday. Of course, now he's very happy and very proud. I remember something he said to me when I was 10 years old. It was not just what he said, but how he lived it his whole life. That was 53 years ago. At that time, he was an automobile dealer. And he was taking a lot of loans from banks. And he was selling a car. Many of you are too young to understand the context of what I'm about to say, but it was called the Edsel. It was the biggest financial disaster in automobile industry's history. My father lost everything. The banks were trying to take our little house away, and he was struggling and struggling. He was going to these bankruptcy people, and they were trying to convince them that he's really trying to make up for things. He was working about 18 hours a day, constantly, just trying to save the family from total poverty. And he used to tell me, he said, it's not how much money we have that's important. It's our love for each other. That's what's really important in life. Never forget that. And I used to ask him, well, if that's what's so important, why are you working 18 hours a day? He said, I have to, because we have to, do the needful in this world. He said, but don't be misled. It's our love for each other and the values that we hold that is the only really important thing in life. Little did he know that I would become a renounced monk and Swami on the basis of his teachings. But I can say that later on, he became very wealthy by his hard work. But that principle remained the foundation of his life. It's the foundation of the family that he created. Whether we're monks, whether we're millionaires, whether we're billionaires, whatever our particular occupation or status in society, whatever our religion, it's this type of character and values. How to share, how to take responsibility for each other. That really gives human life meaning and value. It is said that if you lose your wealth, you lose nothing. If you lose your health, you lose something. If you lose your values, your character, you lose everything. People who have much are in a position to do such great sacred services for the whole world. Human evolution is not just in our science and our technology. Human evolution is when individually and collectively we go from the need to get to the joy of giving. And I know many people, and some of those people are sitting right in this room today, who really seriously work hard as hard as anybody I've ever seen in their occupations. And by their creative genius, they really have accumulated a lot. But their motivation is to serve God and serve society through doing so. And what they're doing is phenomenal. They're making a serious difference in people's lives and in the world. That potential is within all of us. When we have a foundation of inner peace and inner values, it gives power to whatever we do. The power of love, the power of compassion. When we learn that every word we speak, every act we do, and what we do with what we have is an investment. An internal investment, then we really take responsibility. I am overjoyed that the HSBC Bank is opening their doors to give us a chance to speak these words. And I dearly appreciate this opportunity. Each and every one of us in our own ways are leaders. And we're giving our values to the next generation and to the world today. Let us be instruments of real positive change in everything we do.